I want to say I called it, but it was so obvious that it would be silly of me to boast that I predicted it. I'm sure most, if not all of you knew what was coming. But regardless of whether or not we knew, there is no denying that WATTREL evolving was very exciting. Now yes, I still have some misgivings about it, since it feels like it was too soon. They really could have used at least one more episode to develop Watrel further so that its evolution could feel more earned and deserved. But it is what it is. No going back now. At least this episode did a good job of building up to the pivotal moment by clearly showing Watrel's fear and weakness, and its fervent desire to overcome them no matter what. Its inferiority complex with Fuecoco and its frustrations because its companion gets more praise and attention were apparent before, but this episode wonderfully put them center stage to serve as even more fuel to propel Watrel to new heights, literally. So despite it feeling like it was too soon, they were able to still make it feel somewhat believable and warranted, which ultimately ensured that this episode ended up being very good. Especially since who can deny the thrill of seeing a main character's Pokemon evolve? Throw in Ryme and several Pokemon's Horizon's debut, several cute funny moments, and the intriguing setup for the next episode, and you get a wonderful episode. So let's dive deeper into everything that made it such an amazing showing. But before we do, what exactly happened in this episode? Let's recap. In this episode, Liko, Roy, and Dot are still searching for wild Pokemon for their reports. Liko is unable to work the camera properly to record some squawkabilly, while Tinkatink adorably gets in the way of Dot's recording. Roy meanwhile finds a Capsakid which he observes and records. Fuecoco gathers a berry, something Watrel takes personally, since Roy is amazed. Watrel tries to one-up Fuecoco repeatedly, but can't. Even when it tries to get a berry from a tree, it fails due to strong winds. Fuecoco meanwhile uses Flame Charge to run up the tree, outperforming Watrel once more, which makes its frustration grow. Back at camp, everyone shares what they observed. Liko shows off her very blurry video, Dot found nothing interesting, and Roy presents a video of Watrel, citing that while it's no longer afraid to fly, it still struggles with strong winds, something Roy hopes to help it overcome. At night, Roy wakes up to find that Watrel is gone. Worried, he and Fuecoco search for it in the forest. Watrel is training, and when it hears Roy and Fuecoco calling for it, it hides out of embarrassment. It is soon found though, and it refuses to face them. So Roy and Fuecoco cheer it up by singing. Things rapidly take a scary turn, complete with an ominous cry that turns out to be from a houndstone. Its trainer, Ryme, soon appears. She reveals that she heard Roy and Fuecoco singing, which she praises. Realizing that they wanted to cheer Watrel up, she and Houndstone sing their own encouragement song, which focuses on facing your fears. This amazes Roy and Fuecoco. Capsakid soon appears, perplexing Roy since it shouldn't be out at night. Ryme reveals by singing that there is a terrifying Pokemon who is not from this world lurking around scaring other Pokemon, and she is here to find it. Roy gets sidetracked trying to record Capsakid. He reveals he's currently enrolled in Naranja Academy, which catches Ryme's attention. She tells Fuecoco that she can feel some real fire in him, which triggers Watrel. Just as Roy turns around, Ryme vanishes. In the morning, Roy shares what he experienced with Liko and Dot, who believe that he must have been dreaming. It doesn't help that the video he took is pitch black. So they all continue their Pokemon observations. This time, Liko uses the camera properly, but Floragato and the Terapagos scare away the Squawkabilly, and Dot is able to record, but not for her report. Roy looks for Capsakid while Fuecoco gets a berry for a Lechonk, which triggers Watrel. Believing that Watrel wants a berry too, Fuecoco gets it one. But this just angers it further and it gets into a fight with him. Roy stops them, though he pays more attention to Fuecoco, which makes Watrel run away in distress. As they search for Watrel, they find Capsakid in danger. Roy decides to help it. While Capsakid is wary of him initially, he eventually manages to win it over. However, they cannot get to safety due to a landslide and Roy being unable to climb while carrying Capsakid. Watrel soon arrives to help. While the strong winds prevent it from getting close, with determination it manages to rescue Capsakid, allowing Roy to climb up himself. Liko and Dot, who are notified of the crisis by Athena, soon arrive just as Roy loses his grip and falls. Desperate to save its trainer, Watrel leaps towards him and, mid-flight, it evolves, allowing it to save Roy. Everyone is happy because Roy is safe and surprised by Watrel's evolution. Capsakid soon leaves after giving its thanks. In the evening, Roy and friends continue their journey. Fuecoco wants to fly on Watrel, who happily obliges. It even winks, revealing that evolution allowed it to overcome its inferiority complex and disdain towards Fuecoco. Dot mentions that having one of your Pokemon evolve in the wilds of Paldea would make for an amazing report, which Roy agrees with as he happily watches his Pokemon together. The episode ends with the one not of this world being revealed to be an Annihilate. Again, I really feel that it was too soon for Watrel to evolve, since prior to this episode it only had one other episode of focus and it only participated in 3 battles, all with Fuecoco and one was just practice. It really feels like Watrel needed some more development before it got to evolve. Just to illustrate how soon it is, Watrel is currently the regional bird belonging to a main character that reached its final form the fastest at 38 episodes. For comparison, Ashesuelo, who is also a regional bird with 2 stages of evolution, evolved from Talo after 76 episodes, which curiously happens to be double what it took Watrel. Moreover, it currently only knows 3 moves, so it does not even have a full moveset, yet it still evolved. At least one more episode for Watrel to come face to face with its fear, train to overcome it, and learn a new move would have made its eventual evolution feel more earned and deserved. That being said, they still did a good enough job with this episode to justify its evolution. This alleviates somewhat the fact that it was too soon. We already knew that Watrel didn't get along very well with Fuecoco and that it had a bit of an inferiority complex. But this episode was able to really bring these facts out, illustrating just how much they waited on Watrel, and how they had their origin, at least partially, on Watrel's fear and insecurity, which made it feel like the lesser Pokemon when compared to Fuecoco. Like he is just so capable and positive that he shines too brightly as a beacon of courage, selflessness, and strength. He blinded Watrel, making it look worse by comparison, and his light made Watrel cast a long shadow, a sign of its failures. All of this birthed jealousy, envy, and self-doubt, which Watrel dealt with by lashing out, being frustrated, being embarrassed that it had to work so hard just to keep up, and being just bitter. Despite all this darkness within it, it still did its best to help Roy, even though it was still very much afraid. It did not let the dread within it devour it to the point that it was unable to do anything. Having it save Capsakid first was genius, because it gave it a chance to face and overcome its fear courageously without needing a power-up, thus proving its worth and earning its evolution, which allowed it to finally cast aside all the baggage that was weighing it down, leading to it finally being happy, feeling fulfilled, and paving the way for a better relationship with both Roy and Fuecoco. This episode just had fantastic writing, which is ultimately why such a premature turn of events ended up being easier to accept. Beyond Watrel, I'm a bit conflicted about Ryme. I loved getting to see her. Her personality, her rapping, her energy, her positivity were all great to watch, especially since she gave Roy, Fuecoco, and Watrel encouragement, helping Watrel with facing its demons later in the episode and presumably planting a seed in Fuecoco that will bloom later. She truly was amazing, and her rapping was so cool, plus Houndstone was adorable. My only gripe is that maybe she deserved to appear in another episode where she got more time to shine, so that this episode could have focused more on Watrel, thus further alleviating the fact that it evolved too soon. This way, Ryme would have had an even stronger debut. Still, I like the effect she had, which will surely only be more profound if Roy does indeed get to face her. It was awesome to see ANNIHILAPE, even if only briefly. Capsakid was fun and cute, and the other Pokemon in the main cast were funny and adorable as always. Floragato and Terapagos being loud even when Liko told them to keep it down was so hilarious and relatable to anyone that has a pet. And Tinkatink sleeping hammer in hand is just way too adorable. So yeah, overall this was an amazing episode. While trying to juggle and highlight this many Pokemon and characters in just one episode might have detracted a little from each one, and Watrel's evolution still feels a bit premature, the wonderful exploration of it and its insecurity, its fear, and how this shaped its behavior, how it broke through it to help its trainer in his time of need, earning the right to evolve in the process, and how this changed it for the better. Ryme's great debut, especially with the effect she had on the key characters in this episode, the first appearance of Capsakid, Houndstone, and ANNIHILAPE, and several cute funny moments, all made this a thoroughly enjoyable and marvelous episode from start to finish. I absolutely cannot wait to see Kilo Watrel in battle. But that's the review and the video. Please let me know what you think of this episode in the comments below, and click on the links on screen now to see my reviews of the previous 3 episodes. I will see you over there. Thank you so very much for watching.